Good. All right, we will get started with Coach Austin. First question, 24/7 Sports, Brian Christopherson.
Hey, Greg. I know that game against Ohio State was a ways back, but how did you think the young guys responded to it? And also, kind of moving forward, what do you think they took from that experience and what you've seen out of them heading into this week?
The young guys' response to it was good. I mean, we always have things to work on. It was good to, get a lot of guys, in playing, and I think that they learned a lot about themselves, in the process of having that first game, especially a game against a really good defensive line, a really good defense, and I think that the response to it, coming from the game, has been, just like any other week, we got to, continue to work to get better and, correct the errors that we made, and then certainly the things that we did well, continue to drive home the points that made those plays work for us and make those techniques work for us, for that matter.
Did you like how that rotation worked with Bo and Wilson? I know before the season you said you wanted to rotate some more. Is that something you want to keep kind of going like it was in that game?
Yeah, we want, we got some young promising guys and we got some guys that have a lot of snaps under their belt. And, it's all in an effort to continue to evolve the young guys, but then also to keep the old guys healthy. And that's what you saw with Bo and Ethan Piper on, I guess a couple Saturdays ago with the rotation of those guys. So that's our intention, is to, continue to, filter in the young guys that have a lot of promise to them and can do the job, and get those guys some live game reps, because we have a lot of confidence in them, as we do the old guys as well.
Sean Callahan, Husker Online.
Hey, Coach, when you look at Northwestern's front, I mean, what is it they specifically do that people have a hard time just consistently running the ball on? It seemed, watching them against Iowa, they did a pretty good job up front. What have you seen as far as how they'll challenge you guys up front?
Yeah, man, they're gap disciplined. Those guys are gap disciplined. We talk about the defensive line. They very rarely ever get out of gap, get moved out of their gap. And then certainly you talk about the backers, man. The backers are the strength of their team. The backers are, the guys that have started, basically it seems like 4 years in a row. Number 51, number 42, number 28. Those guys, are really good players, and they have a good feel for the gaps that they need to work downhill through, and those guys play a physical brand of football, and certainly we got our work cut out for us, and that's what you see all over the film from the last couple of years. Not just the first two games they've played, but they're a pretty strong and stout front against whomever they've played. Some really good rushing offenses in the Big Ten. Those guys have been able to manage and do well against a lot of really good teams in the Big Ten.
Omaha World Herald, Evan Bland.
Hey, Greg. Just curious, coming off your first game as run game coordinator, what that experience was like. How was that maybe different for you from coaching games in the past, and maybe what did you learn or take away from that moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't very much different. Just being honest with you, the flow of the game, as we go throughout the season, there might be a little bit more of an expanded role, but not very much changed from seasons past to what we did on Saturday functionality wise. As we continue to work through the season, again, the run game coordinator is more of a title, than an actual in-game, direct responsibility. Certainly there's an ownership there, but it's more or less making sure that we keep the main thing, that we're not going and straying off to other places in the run game, that we're our bread and butter is our bread and butter, and we're running our bread and butter. And, we decided to attack those guys a certain way on Saturday, Ohio State. And, at least for the beginning of it, kind of throughout the game, we were able to do, some good things in the run game.
Lincoln Journal-Star, Parker Gabriel.
Hey, Greg, sort of a broader question for you. I've heard some players say this week talking about, maybe not going out in a situation where they might have before, just trying to sort of take COVID and the protocol seriously. And I'm wondering, with all of the ups and downs and a game getting canceled and all that, how have you seen guys just in general handle the things that they're being asked to take into consideration beyond just, getting better at being football players?
Yeah, man, those guys, man, we've been doing this since March, right? We've been kind of rolling with the punches, and really outlasting the obstacles, throughout this whole journey. And, us getting the game against Wisconsin canceled was just another speed bump. Now, it was a big speed bump now, just considering it was Halloween weekend and, we know all the social festivities that come along with that. I thought our guys did a really good job. You can tell just by virtue of, how our team, has responded on the field, but certainly our guys, we test every day. And there's not been this, big wave of infections, from the coronavirus. Our guys, certainly they were caring about, the man to the right and to the left of them more than they were caring about their personal interest this past weekend. So excited about what they did in their private hours to be a professional, just like they've been a professional throughout this whole process, continuing to just answer the bell, and say, hey, I'm going to put the interest of football and the interest of my team before my own interest. And I think that this time, has been able to serve us, in a positive manner, more so than a negative manner overall.
Well, two more for Greg here. Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
Hey, Greg, what'd you see from Turner Corcoran in his first game action? I know he didn't play a lot, but tough assignment to go against an Ohio State defensive end, first time out as a college player, and in learning from that and moving forward, what have you observed with him?
Well, first and foremost, Mitch, you have a nice house. But anyway, above and beyond that, Turner did well. Turner came in, he got in there for 10 plays, handled his own, graded out pretty well. Another guy with a bright future. So excited about, where he is and where he's going. He's certainly an arrow up guy. And, we're continuing to, coach the details, coach the finer points with him. And he's a kid that loves to be coached, loves to be corrected, can take constructive criticism really well. So, just excited about, the player and the person that Turner Corcoran is. And your house.
And last one for Coach Austin, Sam McEwen, Omaha World Herald.
Hey, Coach. I want to go back to Piper for a second. Just as my amateur eye, he's a pretty good athlete, and he seemed to move really well against Ohio State. Did you have an inkling when he moved over from the defensive line to the offensive line that he was going to be able to move and with the extra weight that you guys have put on him as well as he appears to?
Yeah, I mean, Turner, and you said it best. He's an athlete, and that's what we try to recruit here at Nebraska. We want to recruit big athletes, and obviously a local Nebraska kid and big hands, strong kid, good body leverage. Piper is another guy that is a really good player that's going to be, a really, one of the best in the conference in the country. Hopefully, here soon. I can't say enough about the athlete that the kid is. He's an aware kid. He's continuing to elevate his football knowledge and football understanding and instincts and et cetera, et cetera. All those things come with snaps, right? And I mentioned it earlier. In order for you to get those snaps, you got to get those snaps. And sometimes, in order for you to learn, you have to lose. You have to lose. It's not a win. It's more of a learning experience. And one of the things I like about him and Turner, for that matter, is that once those guys, learn it, it only takes a couple times for them to learn it, and then they're ready to go. Athlete, he has the right mindset, and we're excited about his future as well.
I feel like you've upgraded the athletic profile of that room since you've been recruiting there, and not that the guys that you inherited were unathletic, but watching Benhart and Piper and obviously Juergens, do you feel like the athletic profile is better than maybe it was just in the way the guys move?
Yes, I think like we have upgraded the athletic profile across the board. Not only have we updated or upgraded the athletic profile, but then we've also gotten longer and bigger, and that was a big deal when we first arrived here, was that we want to recruit. We're in the Big Ten. We got to get big dudes, and no discredit to the guys that were here previously. But at the end of the day, it's an objective measure. It's not subject to anything. If you're 6'5", you're 6'5". If you're 6'2", you're 6'2". I tell the guys all the time, I wouldn't recruit myself, in our offense, because I'm just too short, right? I wouldn't recruit you either, Sam. So just being honest with you.
Shorter and fatter. Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about you being fat. Good?
Thanks, man.
All good.
All right,
Thanks,
boys.
Coach Austin.
Thanks, guys.
We'll have Coach Shenander next.